Hey guys, welcome to another edition of I Can't Stop Working on My Boat. We're in the forward starboard cabin area, which on the owner's version, this is typically where the shower, what's up here? Shower, wasted space. Anyway, not a big fan of owner's versions. But we are about to, this has been primarily just storage. We haven't used the bed since we've owned the boat.
What are you doing?
I am moving all of the stuff out of this bed or out of this bedroom so we can convert this to an actual workroom. So
That's a lot of stuff.
yeah, before I started, this hanging rack is full. Everything was full. You couldn't even, there's no way I could have sat here. So everything is either in the art room now or crammed up here in the forepeak until the project's done.
This is exciting.
So we had modified the space before, so we basically had a Dometic freezer installed right here, some miscellaneous galley storage, but that made anything under that compartment or anything in the forward area pretty difficult to access. So today we are going to cut this pass-through cut a walkway almost all the way up to that forward compartment, still leaving some room, probably about the width of the Cellrite that you see up there, and make this area much more usable. So there's been some discussion online about doing these mods and whether it is okay to cut this out, because this isn't just wood, there's also fiberglass support that runs across the boat here. I've seen a counter argument online that this doesn't even exist in the owner's version, so it's safe just to cut it out. I kind of agree with that logic, and then I kind of disagree with it, because just because it doesn't exist on the owner's version doesn't mean that the manufacturer didn't do something to the hull, something to the headliner, to reinforce the area. Seeing how Leopard's like all production manufacturers are going to be cost conscious, I would assume they would over-engineer the upper space and lower space, so it's simply not needed regardless of the design. I'm going to make an assumption there and start hacking away at the boat, and we'll see what happens. Masking off areas like this really cuts down on the cleanup at the end of the project.
There's the port forward cabin with my vinyl cutting, sewing, art supplies, packaging, and this will become, I'm sure, a cluster very soon. So a couple days ago, Mark said, yeah, I think I'm about ready to tackle the garage. We're gonna turn that into a workspace. Okay, well, sweet. I'm still on like coffee number 1, and he's already downstairs cutting holes in things. He kind of has a plan, so it'll be fine, right? I'm sure it'll be fine. Great.
After that pesky structural bulkhead is out of the way, the rest of the project was just figuring out exactly how we were going to use the space, what we were going to store there, how high we wanted shelves, etc. Since most of the shelving was going to be painted, we used poplar in most areas, using 4200 fast cure and screws that were as short as possible to make sure that we didn't penetrate the hole while attaching. How to template complex shapes, especially working on boats, nothing square, plumb, level, and it can sometimes be a pain to fit pieces when you're trying to do complex shapes. Something like this, where we have shelves that are going into, as you can see, this is tapered to the hull. That forward wall's not plumb. Neither one of those corners is square. Coming back here, none of this is square. So what is the easiest way to do something like that? So you can take tons and tons and tons of measurements, and I've certainly done it that way, and got pretty good results, but it's stressful, takes a lot of time, and it's never really quite perfect. So the easiest way is grab a hot glue gun and some sticks and just make a quick template. Now we're going to do this small inside shelf. These sticks are not cut exact. They're literally just stuck in here eyeballed. You want them to be a little bit short of what you want the final template to be, but as you can see, everything's just kind of loose in here. And here we go. Don't you love the pretty little hot glue gun? So you do some dabs of hot glue. And you set your pieces in. Give it a nice squish. Make sure it's flush and that things are lined up where you want them. In a case like this, it doesn't matter that that's short because we're going to be cutting to this edge here. And there you have it. Once that sets up, you can probably should have waited a little bit longer for that to cool down, but you get the gist. Now you take that to your plywood, lay it down, trace it, cut it out, come back, it'll fit right in place. Now you probably can't see it in the video, but notice here where there's a little bit of offset to go around this. Now if you were doing this layout, that would be a real pain to get the detail in that, or you can just hot glue a small piece in there to catch that detail, and now your template has the notch. The final assessment on the structural bulkhead wouldn't be complete until we headed south for hurricane season. We basically kept the chunk that I had cut out, got into some really sloppy, nasty conditions, and then I held the piece back in place, feeling on both sides to see if I could feel the hull moving. Thankfully, she passed this test with flying colors. I'm not sure what I would have done had she not. Who am I kidding? I had a backup plan, just didn't want to have to do it. As you can see from that last shot, Jen wasted no time filling up the space with provisions. As always, thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, shoot us a message. We love the interaction.